it's like really really dark because I've moved my desktop here. No, 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 here. There's like a wall here. It was used to be like this. This is where I'm facing, and it also used to be like that. That is where I'm facing, uh, like just by the window. But now, it's been a while, and you know, I've had so much thoughts and feelings to share, and I'm just really going to be. This is like a new me. I'm going to mention things that I am not. I can't even dare to mention in in this channel, because this channel is such a sacred thing for me, and I would never let anyone to see it. I'm wearing my favorite sando. You know what I mean? My favorite tank top, and it's full of holes, and I just don't care anymore. I'm wearing makeup. It's just bronzer, and I think it looks good because I'm gonna go later to my cousin's place, and I think I need it. We're gonna drink and we're gonna have fun, and tomorrow we're gonna go to this hotel, and we're going to eat at a buffet. I hope so. I think so. Yeah, and we're gonna eat and we're gonna swim there. We've done that before, like once. Yeah, last even when I was reviewing, and when I was what do you call this? When I was reviewing, and when I graduated, that was last year. So now, 2 days. No, yesterday was my birthday, and let's just go way back. I met a guy, and I met him in a dating app, of course. So pretty much, since the start of December, I've been hooking up. That was my first hookup, and what do you call this? Like, it was such a new feeling for me because I was already yapping, like walking, pacing back and forth right there, and it's like I need to film this because this is fucking groundbreaking and shit. Anyway, what I just said is that it was such a new feeling for me, a new feeling that leads to new experiences, and new experiences makes you so happy. It rebrands yourself. It makes you feel stimulated. So I started in December. It was not here at my hometown, and I did it there. That was my first one. And then when I got back here, I continued doing so. My friend Gab, he already warned me about the insatiable, addicting feeling of being in the app, in the dating app of hookups, and he was right. That was the start. Back then, I would never dare to use the app here around my area because, of course, i'm I'm still student. Second, my mother is, my house, my no, my house is near the school, pretty much. So I could not risk anything like that, to bring shame to my family. It's going to be so embarrassing. Anyway, so when I came back here at my house, I think I stayed for like 2 days and one night. I'm pretty sure, or was it one day and 2 nights? I'm not sure. Anyway, in another town, because we had to celebrate my cousin took me with them to celebrate her birthday. So it's like a little family bonding, but it's just us cousins. So it started there, and it was such a blast because I had just graduated. I was waiting for the result of the board exam I took last December. So it was September, October, November, December. So the result would be released like December. My grandmother has died in November. It was, I miss her to this day. And why am I mentioning that? It's because I don't have to take care of her anymore because, she has passed away, and she has, you know, said her goodbye. She said her goodbyes for us. Yeah, yeah, for us, to us. And pretty much I'm just completely free, So it was December. It was really depressing, but it's nothing like I'm feeling right now. That's a spoiler alert. Anyway, so it was December, right? And when I got back here, I hooked up again. And yeah, and I think that was another hookup, and then another hookup, and then another hookup. I think it was like two, and then came the New Year's, yeah, in January. I couldn't hook up anyone with I couldn't hook up with anyone at the time because my cousins were here. It was New Year, so my cousins would go here, like just like right now. So my cousin is not from this town. He goes to the school like really far away, but still in the Philippines, and he just he visits here. So he would go home to here and would hang out with me. So I would he would go here to my house and do the hangout here in my room in the house, or which is going to be happening later. I'm going to their house and we're gonna do hang out there, like drink and stuff. It's gonna be fun, but my opinion is just really, really overwhelming and tiring. So I have to make myself as comfortable as I can. So I have to bring my essentials, like like the clothes that I wear and the things like makeup and makeup remover, facial wash, and toothbrush, and as such. So, so they were here, and I think he went home at January 2 or 3, and then like the day after, I hooked up again. So I think that was like the third one. Yeah, I think that was the third one, and yeah, I came back for seconds the next day, and what I did back then, I just really thought that I just did not give a fuck. I just wanted to have sex with people, and it's just so risky. Nonetheless, nothing to worry. I wasn't to what do you call this? I wasn't in any uh substance, under the influence of any substance, and everything was safe. So let's just get out of the way, okay? So the realization that I have right now is that that was really risky in a way that I would put myself in dangerous situations, of course, in a way that I would just go there at 11 p.m. or 9 p.m. It depends because I had class, and it's never, you know what I mean. I did not really think that through. I mean, I was still picky, but I was really no, I wasn't picky at all. I was just waiting to be picked. I was really desperate in those. I messaged everyone there, and I just hope that they would pick me. You know what I mean? They're willing to do the deed with me. So I always went there, and that was like my last money spent on the fare that I to go there and then back here. It's a lot, especially at night. Sometimes I can't even. It's hard to get. Uh, it's hard to it's hard to get what do you call this, like a ride there up to there because it's already late at night. But I still did anyway. So the last one, it was he was good. He was good, I think. But I've had conflicts with that. And anyway, my friend Gab already started noticing in January, I think, yeah, in New Year's, because we've had our epiphanies. We presented our thoughts about things and stuff, and he said that I kind of like changed in a way that I'm not as fragile as I was, because I was in such a manic phase. Like I was so aroused every single time, and it just drove me insane in a way that I can't even, it's so fun, like I'm sleeping, and I'm having such blast. So in January 5, I started gym with my friend Jed, and yeah, and mm, I think I vaguely remember. I think it was Monday. Of course, it was Monday. We started not on January 1. Of course, it's New Year's, and we had to, um, reset for the week. So it would be a good start if we started on Monday. It was tiring, and I think I forgot. I think it was January 7 or 6 that my loved one, or the person that I settled one for, my boyfriend. Yeah, why am I still like holding back like the things? No one's gonna see this. I mean, if even if they do, I feel like it's such a good thing. I guess I'm not trying to be seen, but I'm just trying to share and make to have a footage of this or something. Anyway, I met my boyfriend, and the first time, that was and he was the first one that I actually invited over. So it was really thrilling to do that. I actually brought a man here, a boy. He's like 2 years younger than me. Not 2 years, not 2 whole years. It's like 1 year and February, January. 1 year and 2 months. No, 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 no. I'm older than him 1 year and 10 months. For like, yeah, 1 year and 10 months, I think. Because he's born in 2005 and I'm born 2003. Hold on, I have to lubricate. I have to speak this out because I think I'm really getting these really serious symptoms. Wait, of anxiety. Anyway, so when I first met him, I needed him outside my gate, and he has this tricycle, a smaller. It's called tricycad in my region. It's like basically a smaller version of the tricycle, but it's still a tricycle nonetheless. Anyway, so he has this tricycle that he used to go here. And when I saw him, I the first thing I said, thank God he's handsome because he is. He's very attractive. And when he got here, I could just remember, it's so euphoric and nostalgic. Is it nostalgic? No, euphoric in a way that I just literally brought a man inside my room for the first time ever. And I think that's something that it's a new experience for me. That was January 6th, Everything seemed fast, and we did the deed, but it wasn't really up to you know, the the further basis. I think it was just second base, third base, I think. And we talked about each other, That's when we started to, yeah, to talk about each other. And getting, because it feels good thinking about the past, that I feel like I shouldn't dwell on it because I shouldn't, I should not dwell on these facts. Look, I fucking check his message. Anyway, he's at school now, so continue. We talked about each other, and then after that, when he had to go, um, I asked him, of course. I was the one who's chasing him from the start, and I was never ashamed of that. I'm gonna be dwelling on that later on. I'm gonna be explaining more. Anyway, so I asked what socials that does is he active in? Okay, so what socials is he active in? And he said that he's active in Facebook. So without hesitation, I had little hesitation because I would never give my hookup my Facebook because it's such personal stuff. But he did, so I feel like it's part of the horny thing that I would just do everything so I could get that good feeling again. And I did give him the Facebook, or he gave. I asked for his name, and when he gave it to me, I immediately chatted him. Like I was like, "Hi, Bogey," you know what I mean? So I was the one chasing him, and I did not even care for it. You know what I mean? And I think I should still be like that, but things have changed now. So fast forward, he kept coming over here. So and we never really had sex, I would say, because he said that um he wanted things to not be so fast. So I think I appreciated that at least. And I think there are instances when he's here that he cannot contain his sexual desires towards me, and that made me feel so good. You know what I mean? Because I was such an ugly kid. I was fat, and when you're fat, you're pretty much ugly, especially where I live. And I have not gotten any real self confidence and self esteem until I was like in college. You know, so when you are ugly as a child, in high school, or in in ages that you're just insensitive ages, you would tend to feel like the objectification, if you're treated as a sexual object or be wanted for sex, you would feel good. It's such a huge validation. So that was a huge validation for me. So I think like a month later, it was February 1, it was his birthday. And I had already knew that, like weeks passed, and I already got him. I already ordered something online for him, and it's like this nylon plushie. It's a little small, and I gave him my G-Friend LOL album, and yeah, he was very happy about that. And I think, in the whole February, in the whole month of February, that's when we started to do the deed, and it was, I don't know, like multiple times a week, and or it was somehow like just a week. And the thing is, I really enjoyed that time because it was pretty much our honeymoon phase. Yeah, because it was what do you call this? I thought that our honeymoon phase ended in January, but it's an extension of that of the February. I mean, it extended to February, so yeah. And then in February 14, of course, it's Valentine's Day. It's such a special time for me because for the first time, I have someone to to ask me out on a Valentine's date. Because in a relationship, I'd be very transparent. I think I'm the, they'd say like this is gonna be sexist, but they would say that I am the girl one. You know what I mean? So who's the girl? So I am the girl because I tend to be more nurturing and more caring like a woman would, and the one who's like more submissive because he always initiates things. If he goes here, I never say that I wanted him to go here, you know. So that's the thing. He loves to initiate. Anyway, the, February 14 was the oath taking for the professional teachers. And when I got home, it was so tiring. I woke up around 4 a.m. for that because the the venue for the oath taking is so far, and we had to we had to like take the bus to get there. So it was really early, and the event starts at like 8. No, 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 7. 7. We need to be there at 7, and I mean I got there, but the point is it was such a long day. When I got here, he had class. He has class TTH Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. All right? And that was Saturday, so he had class. And when I was done and we went home around 2 or 3 p.m. and we got here around like it was already dark, like 5 or 4. But yeah, around those time. And he asked me out on a date, on a Valentine's date. So we went to the city, and that was a good experience for me again. And yeah, it was such a good experience for me again. And what do you call this? I'm lagging. Sorry. And I think I'd like to reminisce on that because right now I'm trying to not dwell on the good feelings of the past because I'm in the present. So, that's what I'm doing. But it's such a good feeling. We went out, we spent so much because we ate like the potato corna, and then we had Dairy Queen. It's like, it's not expensive, but I didn't have any I had money from my part time job, but you know what I mean? It's just once. That happens only once or something. Because, I don't know, like, I what I mean is that shouldn't happen like on a daily basis because it's going to be, your wallet is going to be, there's going to be a hole in your wallet. Anyway, continue. The next day, he came over again, I think, and that's when he asked me to be his boyfriend. And he was really shy about it and opened up about his parents not being so affectionate towards him. That's why it turned out like that. And I really felt bad, and that was the night that we were boyfriends because he asked me. And when I think about it, I should, you know what I mean? Like, there's like thoughts that I should have been more like, what do you call this? I should have been more hard to get. This fucking light is making me R word, I swear to God. But, it's so bright, I swear to God. Anyway, um, it made me like hard to get because I was really easy to get in a way. We were both easy to get, or we fell for each other so easily because, you know, we're just like that. I'm an Aries and he's an Aquarius, so let's delve into that later on. And that was February for 15, and we celebrated that the next. No, no, no. We already celebrated the the Valentine's. So we were boyfriends, and for the whole February, I didn't feel like we were, because we were just. It was everything felt casual. Everything felt natural, and that was the time that loving or giving affection is so easy, and expected. But March came, and that's when he started to get stressed with school. He had to finish writing the chapter 1 to 3 of his thesis and do a lot of things for the interims. He has a lot of stuff. He's on this publication. He's the sports head for this publication of his school, and exams, and yeah, and that's when I started to feel like I'm the one, who's always initiating for sex, who's always in the mood for something, and who's always horny. And that made me feel like he does not want me anymore, period. Because he is not as, you know, he's not as sex ready, or like, let's just say, horny for me. And that makes me feel like unwanted, makes me feel like he does not love me, that like somehow invalidates all the things that he has done for the relationship. And I'm trying to blame myself, but of course I have to make ends meet. No, we have to meet, like, we have to meet somewhere with that situation. Just like I said, I'm an Aries, and I go for what I want, and I want him, and I'm very straightforward. I like to ask questions, and I'm very unhinged, and uh, just spontaneous. And yeah, I'm like that. And Aquarius, him, he can reciprocate the energy. He has energy, of course, but when things get vulnerable, I it's easy for me to get vulnerable. Don't get me wrong, but for him, it's not. Just like I said, he was not taught to be like that. His parents didn't raise him to be affectionate, and I don't think that's enough reason. But that is, I could understand that. And I've always opened that up to him, that you know I need affection because I'm very clingy. And lately I've been feeling like I've been wanting more, and just going on and on of regulating myself to not be so, not needy, to not, like, just want sex. You know what I mean? And I did open it up to him that I don't want him to get pressured and stuff. And I understand the feeling, or I think I understand why he has such low libido for me, and stuff, because I have access. Okay, now, I think it started around March 2, when he started logging in his stuff here, that I had access to his Google, which made me had access to pretty much everything, like every social media he has in the apps in his phone, because it's all connected. And of course, I have access to his Facebook, and this is where the madness starts. Of course, I already know that no, I already have access to that stuff, and that's the start of my self-destructive behavior. So let's start first. Um, I would open his account and see if he has a roster, of course, like a roster, like an ongoing roster, because that would make make me break the relationship. And I would hate to do that. No, I would hate if that, if he had that, he's talking to other guys while he's having me. And, day by day, I would dig a little deep and just hurt, that would just make me hurt. Like past, like dead talking stages, past relationships I would see, and it would just hurt me. It would really hurt me in a way that I would be so anxious that why isn't he as chalant uh, as to me like he did in this guy. And I already understood that because the guy didn't even want him. That's why he needed to compensate for that. And I dig deeper and deeper to his account. It's just a really unhealthy behavior that I started to have really have anxiety, like heightened anxiety. I don't really have panic attacks, but I feel like it's turning into that. I'm just really self-diagnosing here, but you know what I mean. Like I just started being so self-destructive because everything I did
Most of
was
someone who
not
isn't.
even making me feel better. Like focusing on myself, you know? Like totally. Even though I still try to be better for him or for myself, the things that I do would just cancel that out. So if you say that like if I say that I'm multitasking by being such a good like being such a good boyfriend to him, I'm not because I'm doing this to myself, and he sees that. He sees that insecurity in me. That sometimes he hates when I cancel the classes because he's coming over. He hates when I cancel my classes because you know we're out and I'm not gonna be making it, so I have to cancel earlier. He hates that because that would make me seem like I don't care about my life at all. That would make seem that I'm just really reckless and I'm just doing this all for him and nothing for me. You know what I mean? That makes people feel like there's no competition. That makes people feel like this person is just drawn into me. Like this person is just focused on me and not focusing on his life. That's so embarrassing. So that's what I'm trying to like like not do. You know what I mean? And yeah, I may or may not have had access to his chat GPT too. And of course, I already know everything. First, he asked ChatGPT why he's not so horny anymore around me. And of course, ChatGPT answered, maybe it's stress, or maybe it's because he loves me, or he loves you love your boyfriend, me, that I'm not really seen as a sexual object anymore. And ChatGPT asked, who has the higher desire? And he answered, I have the higher desire, or his boyfriend. And that hurt me too, but it didn't hurt as much like when like the first time I opened his account and stuff, played around with his account because I just understood everything. I'm not supposed to access this because this just makes me worse, but I just can't stop doing it. So I made I have made some arrangement that maybe I can just visit his account or access everything just once every single day. Well, clearly that hasn't worked yet because I'm here talking to you about that. Hold on. Anyway, yeah, anyway. So, you know, doing all of that makes me just really anxious, and I'm really, really worried why. I'm talking about the symptoms of heightened anxiety. So it starts as this really bad headaches that, it's just really bad. It's so bad. And, I have not getting the bestest of sleep. I mean, I can still sleep. I can fall asleep. But when I get woken up by something, it's pretty normal. You sometimes you get woken up at around 6. I usually wake up at 8. So here's how I'm gonna describe it. When I get woken up at 6 by something, like a loud noise, or like the sun hitting my face because my bed is right here. It's a little bright, so I would just be half awake, not even half awake, like still asleep. I have learned that I should never open my eyes so I could continue sleeping. That when I get woken up, I'm already conscious. Like, there's no half asleep concept for me anymore, because my brain starts to put in the negative thoughts, doubts about my relationship, doubts about, is he even attracted to me, doubts about, does he even love me, am I just giving too much and I'm not even getting anything, because that's all my thoughts. So even though I had to wake up around 8 so I could have 8 hours, so because I usually sleep at 12, I can't, because the thoughts, they're just raising. And earlier it was really bad because um I slept around 5. No. I got woken up around 4. So I really had to log in and sleep. And the thing is, when my brain already starts doing it, it's already in a fight mode, no? Yeah, fight or flight. And my heart is beating, and all I could do is just, okay, breathe, breathe, and not think of anything, and just be relaxed, don't think about the relationship. It's not relevant. I need to fucking sleep. That's all I think. And it's so hard. It's been so hard. And I think the only time that it was pretty much better was when I drank cetirizine. It's for like these allergies, because I was sneezing and shit. And then that makes you really sleepy. And I think I had good sleep at the time. Anyway, so yeah, I've been like, why do I check his account? Because I'm really scared that he has someone else. You know what I mean? I'm scared that I'm gonna lose him. But what can I do to not lose him? I think I just have to be direct. I can check his account for once in a while, and not just as excessively as I did like earlier. It's even worse earlier because I was already, having bad day yesterday, since it's a long story short, I had birthday blues. And I always feel that empty feeling. It's like the grounding feeling for the day, like the base feeling, like that was already what I felt during that day yesterday, when it was my birthday. And I think my mom said something to trigger like this really irritable thing about, yeah, like, she triggered my, like, this irritable asshole self that I am. And I got mean to my mom, and that made me really feel like shit. And I cried in my room, and my boyfriend saw me crying, and he kind of got offended because why am I not talking to him about that? And I told him that I just have really bad birthday blues, and I don't want you to lose your appetite, because he was eating in my room. And yeah, and I should, what I should do? I just really have to focus on things. I want to get a haircut, and maybe make my make my hair black or something. But I really want a haircut right now. Because sometimes I think that maybe getting a haircut Harvey would make my boyfriend want me more and stuff, because lately I haven't been flirting with him, so to see the difference, you know what I mean? And I was just really observing him if he was still giving me affections and stuff. So maybe I'd give him the talk when I get back, because I have to go to my cousin's house now, like literally now. I have to prepare. And yeah, I mean, I still have time to spare, I think. And I have to prepare for it, and we're gonna drink there, and I think that's gonna help me relax and get sleep, even though I'm not really comfortable sleeping in their house. I mean, it's clean and stuff, but it's not my house. So yeah, let's see, and I'm just really worried that he's gonna hook up with other guys. You know what I mean? So maybe I shouldn't, you know, because he has not been doing that. And I think he's gonna do that even more if if I show him that I'm really insecure about in the relationship. Because I know I look good. I know that, I have, you know, he was once attracted to me. So why, like, it suddenly turn off? It's not, it's not because of that, I think. You know, it shouldn't be because we're boyfriends and stuff. So yeah, and the thing I'm worried about is that tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna go home tomorrow at night. So yeah, tomorrow at night I'm gonna go home. Like, let's just say like 9 p.m. So I think it's gonna be good. I fucking need to go there like right now because so I could breathe from this thing. And another symptom that I have with anxiety is like this psyche. I forgot the term. Wait, I looked that up. It's called I forgot. Like the psychological. I forgot the. It's like the psychedelic. I don't know, like something psychology plus fever that I feel really hot. Like I feel like my skin is burning up, but when I check my body temperature, it's not. Like it's 36.5. That's like textbook. That's like textbook perfect for like a normal body temperature. So yeah, and I think it's from my anxiety too. So I'm gonna go there. I'm already assured I'm not gonna be paying for anything because they're gonna be paying for everything, and I'm just gonna be there. And they seem like they want me to be there. So those are my cousins, and when they're here, we get to hang out. And I would rather hang out with them there than here. Than them getting here because and I think I can meet Harvey, my boyfriend, on Friday. No, 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 on Thursday. Let's just see. And I should not worry about anything at all. Yeah, I should just be communicative. And earlier, even I was just doing this spree. I was checking everything about him and everything about his account and see if he has still installed the dating app, and I'm pretty sure he does not. So yeah, and I should just I should just what do you call this? Um, let it go. Just fucking let it go. Just fucking let it go and focus on myself. I think I'm gonna get a haircut tomorrow. I'm not sure. Nor later. Should I get a haircut later? I mean, if I can, like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I don't have money anymore. It's like I'm really on my uh, it's like the end of my money, but I guess it's okay because you know can't really do much. Ugh. So yeah, I think that will be it. Thank you for being here, and I feel better actually, and I hope that I'm not going to be experiencing. I can't drink any coffee. I don't drink any coffee anymore because it makes my. At first, it was just one eyelid that's just twitching, and when I just continued on drinking coffee in the morning, and I like it to be a little strong in a way that everything is strong, like a good amount of coffee, and then a good amount of milk and creamer and sugar. So it was two eyelids that was twitching, so let's not do that anymore. And yeah, what else? I hope I get relaxed by this trip that I'm gonna be doing. And yeah, I have nothing to worry about. Like there's literally nothing need to worry about this relationship. There's literally nothing to worry about this late relationship. And I have to keep telling myself that. So I could just what I mean? I could just look back at this anxiety spree that I'm having, I'm sure, I'm fucking sure that I'm going to be as less anxious in the near future. I'm gonna have a job, and I'm still gonna keep meeting up and do relationship things with my boyfriend. And I think you know all is well, all is well, all is well. I'm gonna get him a bouquet in our monthsary, which is like in a few days. So I'm really hoping for the best here. I just you know I think that he doesn't have he doesn't even have a problem with me. But I want my relationship with my boyfriend to just be low cortisol, in a way that I shouldn't have to be worrying about anything. Maybe someday I'd have to let go of checking his accounts. I think it would be really hard. It would be really, 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 really hard. But I think I can still do it. Just like I said, I'm not gonna be as anxious as now, and I'm gonna be get used to this. My body's gonna get used to this, and I'm gonna be as not as anxious in the future, and I'm just gonna be looking back at this moment and think that you know it all led up to that moment, like a polished version of me that is stronger and is used to dealing with the anxiety. So I think that will be all, and you know it's just me. It's just me. Love you all.